Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled between two towering mountains, there stood an old clock tower. Pause. It wasn't just any clock tower. This one had been there for centuries, its bells echoing across the valley with a melody that seemed almost alive. At the heart of the town lived a curious boy named Finn. Finn was not like other children. Pause. While they played games or climbed trees, Finn spent his time reading old books about magic and mysteries. His best friend Clara was the only one who shared his thirst for the unknown. Together, they often dreamed about the secrets of the clock tower. "Do you think it's true?" Clara whispered one evening as they sat beneath the shadow of the tower. "That the clock tower holds magic?" Finn nodded, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "I'm sure of it," he replied. "Why else would it still work perfectly after all these years? And why does no one know who built it?" That night, as the moon bathed the town in silver light, the clock struck midnight. But this time, something strange happened. Pause. Instead of its usual chime, the bells played a hauntingly beautiful tune neither Finn nor Clara had ever heard before.
"Did you hear that?"
Clara asked, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. Finn grabbed a lantern. He said,
"We have to go inside."
The door to the clock tower was always locked. But tonight, as they approached, it creaked open as if inviting them in. The air inside was cold, and the faint ticking of the clock seemed to echo endlessly. At the center of the room stood a spiral staircase that wound its way up into the darkness. Clara asked, her voice barely a whisper. Finn hesitated but nodded.
"We have to."
Step by step, they climbed the staircase, the wooden boards creaking beneath their feet. As they ascended, the ticking grew louder, almost as if the clock was alive. Finally, they reached the top. Before them was the heart of the clock tower, a massive golden clock, its gears spinning with an almost otherworldly rhythm. But what caught their attention was a small glowing key hovering in the air. Finn reached for it, but the moment his fingers touched the key, the clock stopped. The silence was deafening. Then, a voice echoed around them. It boomed.
"Who dares disturb the magic of the clock tower?"
Clara grabbed Finn's arm. She stammered.
"We didn't mean any harm."
The voice softened.
But you are brave to come this far. And brave souls are exactly what this town needs.
Before they could respond, the room shimmered, and they found themselves standing in a vast golden field. Above them, the sky swirled with colors they had never seen before, purples, greens, and silvers that danced like fireflies.
Where are we?
Clara and Finn exchanged bewildered looks. Clara asked,
"Us? Guardians?"
The voice said.
"Yes. Time is fragile, and it is your duty to protect it. But beware. There are those who seek to manipulate it for their own gain."
As the voice faded, a silver pocket watch appeared in Finn's hand, while Clara received a golden compass. The voice whispered.
These will guide you.
Suddenly, the field disappeared, and they were back in the clock tower. But things weren't the same. Outside, the town was frozen in time. People stood still, mid-step, their faces frozen in expressions of surprise and joy.
We have to fix this.
Clara asked.
"But how?"
The compass in her hand began to glow. Pointing toward the mountains, she said.
"That way."
The figure hissed.
"You should not have come here,"
Finn said, holding up the pocket watch.
"We're here to fix what you've done."
The figure laughed, a sound that sent shivers down their spines.
"Do you even know what you're meddling with? Time is power, and I will not let you take it from me."
With a wave of its hand, the figure summoned shadows that lunged at the children. Finn and Clara fought bravely, using the watch and compass to deflect the attacks. But the shadows kept coming, and the figure's power seemed limitless. Just when all seemed lost, Clara remembered the voice's words. She murmured,
"Time is fragile."
"But so is greed." She grabbed the hourglass and turned it over, flipping it upside down. The golden sands began to flow in reverse, and a brilliant light filled the cave. The shadows screeched and dissolved into nothingness, and the cloaked figure staggered back.
"You don't know what you've done."
Finn held the pocket watch tightly and stepped forward. He said firmly,
"Time belongs to everyone, not just you."
The figure let out a final ear-piercing cry, before vanishing in a swirl of darkness. The hourglass settled, its sands glowing brighter than ever, and the cave seemed to exhale as if relieved of a great burden. Outside, the world began to move again. The frozen leaves rustled in the breeze, and birds resumed their songs. Clara and Finn felt the weight of the moment sink in. As they made their way back to the town, the pocket watch and compass glimmered faintly before vanishing from their hands. They were no longer needed. The balance of time had been restored. The clock tower stood as it always had, its bells chiming in perfect harmony. But now, Finn and Clara understood its true purpose. Clara asked as they stood beneath its shadow once more. Clara asked as they stood beneath its shadow once more. Clara asked as they stood beneath its shadow once more. The two friends looked at each other and laughed, their bond stronger than ever. They had faced the unknown and emerged as guardians, not just of time, but of their own courage and friendship. And as the clock struck midnight again, its melody seemed to whisper a promise that in the vast, magical world, adventure was always just a heartbeat away.
This story combines mystery, magic, and an engaging pace with pauses to keep listeners hooked until the very last word. Let me know if you'd like adjustments.